The candidate who asks this one question at the end of an interview almost always gets the offer. Not the most qualified one. The one who asks the right question.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me a single question at the end can beat someone with better experience? That sounds like a stretch.
It's not a stretch, and here's the psychology behind it. Most candidates spend the whole interview in defense mode, answering, proving, justifying. They treat it like an exam.
Right, and that's exhausting just to watch. Everyone's sweating to give the perfect answer.
Exactly. But the people who get hired flip the script. They stop trying to pass the test and start acting like a colleague who's already solving the company's problems.
Okay, so it's less about being interviewed and more about interviewing them back.
That's the whole game. It's called the reverse interview. And the magic moment is when they ask, "Do you have any questions for us?"
Which, let's be honest, is where most people fall apart. They go, what's the company culture like?
And that question quietly kills you. Not because it's offensive, because it's forgettable. It signals you're shopping for a job, not ready to do this one.
So what's the actual question? Don't leave people hanging. What do the winners say?
Here it is. You look the hiring manager in the eye and you ask, what does success in this role look like in the first 90 days, and what usually gets in the way?
Oh. Okay, that actually hits different. You're not asking what they'll give you, you're asking what you need to deliver.
Right. And watch what it does to the interviewer's brain. To answer it, they have to picture you actually in the seat, getting things done. You forced a mental movie where you already have the job.
That's sneaky in the best way. They literally can't answer without imagining you succeeding.
And the second half, what usually gets in the way, that's the seniority signal. Juniors assume everything goes smoothly. Seniors know every role has landmines and they ask about them up front.
Because if you know the obstacles, you can show up ready to handle them. That's how a 5-year veteran thinks, not a rookie.
Exactly. And here's the bonus, the interviewer just handed you a roadmap. Whatever they say next is literally the criteria they'll judge you on.
So you can respond to it right there in the room. Like, take what they said and connect it to something you've done.
That's the follow-up move. They say, honestly, the hard part is getting the engineering and sales teams aligned. And you say, that makes sense, that's exactly the problem I untangled at my last company. Here's how.
And boom, now you're not a candidate anymore. You're the solution to a problem they just admitted they have.
That's the entire flip. You converted a generic Q&A into a working session about their actual pain. That feeling sticks long after you leave the room.
Let's talk about why this beats just having a great resume, though. Because someone's thinking, my experience should speak for itself.
Here's the uncomfortable truth, hiring isn't logical, it's emotional with a logical excuse attached. Managers hire the person they can already see thriving. Your job is to build that picture for them.
And most candidates leave that picture totally blank. They answer questions and walk out, hoping the resume does the rest.
One more layer, timing. You ask this at the end, when it's the last thing they hear. The recency effect means that's the impression they carry into the hiring debrief.
So when the team huddles up afterward and goes around the room, your interviewer's the one saying, this one already gets what the job needs.
Now a quick warning, don't recite it like a robot. Tailor it. If it's a startup, ask what success looks like in 90 days given how fast things change. If it's remote, ask what gets in the way of staying aligned across time zones.
Make it specific to them and it lands 10 times harder. Generic questions get generic memories.
So to recap, stop trying to win the interview by answering perfectly. Win it by asking the one question that makes them picture you already doing the job.
90 days, what success looks like, and what gets in the way. Say it, then connect your story to their answer. That's the reverse interview.